Telling time to the hour. In this video, you will learn how to tell time on an analog clock and a digital clock to the hour. What shape is this? It is a circle. What do you notice about the dotted lines on the circle? Let's look at the spaces between the lines. Are the parts equal, or are all of the parts different sizes? The parts are equal. Let's count the parts. Let's use our finger to trace the edge as we count. So we're going to start here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 equal parts. If we add numbers to the 12 equal parts, we have a clock. The clock is missing something. Do you know what it is? The clock is missing 2 hands. The clock now has 2 hands. It has a long hand and a short hand. The long hand is called the minute hand, and the short hand is called the hour hand. Mrs. Simmons compares herself to the short hand. She is short, so when she moves in a circle and around this clock, I move very, very slow because I cannot run fast. Mrs. Simmons compares the long hand, the minute hand, to Michael Jordan. He's very tall. He has long legs. He can run really, really fast, so he's going to move around this clock very fast. So the 2 hands are the short hand, which is the hour hand, and the long hand, which is the minute hand. This is 12 o'clock. At midnight, or 12 o'clock every night, we begin a new day. As each minute goes by, both hands of the clock move. When the minute hand gets back to the top and the hour hand reaches the next number, it means we just completed a full hour. We can look at the hour hand to tell us which hour we have completed in the new day. What number is a short hand pointing to? It is pointing to 1. When we get through a full hour but no extra minutes have passed, we say o'clock at the end. So this clock shows 1 o'clock. This is what 1 o'clock looks like on a digital clock. We see the hour first and then no extra minutes. So we write in 2 zeros, 1 o'clock. What number is a short hand pointing to? It is pointing to the 3. What number is a long hand pointing to? It is pointing to the 12. So what time does this clock read? This clock reads 3 o'clock. What number is a shorthand pointing to on this clock? Here our shorthand is pointing to the 11. Notice how the minute hand, the long hand, is pointing to the 12. So what time does this clock read? This clock shows 11 o'clock. This is what 11 o'clock looks like on a digital clock. We see the hour first and no extra minutes. What time is it on this digital clock? It is 6 o'clock. Now, think about what this would look like on an analog clock. Where would the short hand be pointing to? Where would the long hand be pointing to? When it is 6 o'clock, the short hand is pointing to the 6 And the long hand is pointing to the 12. What time is it on this clock? It is 8 o'clock. The short hand is pointing to the 8, also known as the hour hand, and the long hand, which is the minute hand, is pointing to the 12. In this video, we learned about telling time on an analog clock and a digital clock. An analog clock has a short hand, which is the hour hand, and a long hand, which is the minute hand. On the digital clock, the hour comes first, and then it is followed by the minutes. We show 6 o'clock on a digital clock like this: 6:00.